Peace, family. We join with another special guest. This time it's no other than Rico Crowder, aka Rico from Sons of Funk. I definitely want to say I'm a big fan of Sons of Funk, and their music was definitely in my playlist on a lot of occasions.
A lot of intimate occasions.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that part, but definitely on a lot of occasions. So, with that being said, I want to say peace and, respect for all the work that you've done and still continuing to do. Myself, from what I see from the outside, I don't just see you as an artist. I see you as a producer overall, somebody who's out there producing, from labels, from, producing other artists, developing artists and stuff. Obviously, a lot of people know you from the affiliation with No Limit in the Tank and stuff like that. And recently you've been on tour with the reunion and stuff like that. So we want to get into this, your story, like where did, because even for myself as an individual, you can read a little bits on the internet, but I want to know where you sort of started out from, and then we get how you linked in with No Limit and stuff.
All right. Well, it started out, man. I started singing when I was 8. My dad got me in a group and everything. So, with him being a father and everything, he had to go to work and all that stuff. So he couldn't really pursue it the way he wanted to, but it stayed in me. And so by the time I got to the age of 13, I got my first record deal with Motown Records. The very first song I ever recorded, this is why I knew this was meant for me. The very first song I ever recorded, I got a record deal. And it was on a Friday night. I recorded the song. Me and my homeboy, Sam Bostic. A lot of people know him from producing E40, Tupac, a lot of there's mob music in the Bay Area, but he and I started out together, and we started singing, and we recorded this song in Berkeley, California. And the next morning, I woke up. It was this guy playing this guitar in the park across the street from my house. So I went over there and I was like, "Yo, man, I play." He was like, You really play? You're like a young dude. I was like, yeah. So I'm playing for him and stuff, and I'm funking the guitar. Whatever. He was like, damn, you really tight for a little young dude. I said, thank you. I said, you want to hear one of my songs? He was like, yeah, I want to hear one of your songs. And so, so I said, all right. So I popped in a cassette. Back then we had cassettes, right? For those who don't know, it was a little black thing. They had a little tape in it. So he popped it in, and he was like, man, no, this is not you. I was like, yeah, man, that's me. He said, I tell you what. Go home. I'm going to have Anna Gaye Gordy, which is Berry Gordy's sister, Marvin Gaye's wife, call you and hook you guys up with Motown. I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. So I went home. Like 15 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Anna Gaye Gordy. And she was like, I understand you guys got some really good music, and it's really good for you guys' age, I hear. So I want you guys to come to Los Angeles and let's get you guys to do it with Motown. The next Saturday, I was in Motown Records with Anna Gaye Gordy. And as I'm sitting there, right, we're at her house at her mansion on Outpost Drive, right? And as I'm sitting there, this tall guy, it was a sunken living room. And he started walking up. And next thing I'm looking up at him going, oh my God, you know who you are? And he started laughing. And it was Marvin Gaye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was Marvin Gaye. So I got a chance to. Yeah, and he was like, oh, man, I love you guys' music. You guys are really hot. For some young guys, you guys are really polished. I said, yeah, it's because we patterned ourselves a lot after the Jacksons. So we copied them so much that we really started sounding like them, And it was in between the Jacksons and kind of Prince. It was that Prince era. So it was a mix between Prince and Michael Jackson, that Jackson sound, which gave us a hybrid, I guess, or whatever that was. And so I said, well, look, Marvin, I really like meeting everything, and all you did, but I got to meet Mike, man. I love Michael Jackson. Like, he's my ultimate favorite, next to Prince, right? And so he was like, well, man, yeah, since you guys are with Motown now, I'm sure you're going to get a chance to meet Michael. But, man, through the whole time I was there, I had got a song. I don't know if you remember the movie, The Last Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Bruce Leroy.
Stuff. I had a song in the movie. It did well, I still never got a chance to meet Mike. So lo and behold, I learned a lot from them. I learned music, how to write better songs, how to structure songs. I was really good at it, but they showed me a couple little tricks that made it easier for myself. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you who taught me. It was Elder Barge taught me a little trick on how to write it. Yeah, man, we was sitting there on it was a studio called Sunrise and Sunset right there on La Brea. And Elder Barge, she was like, "Look, man, all you got to do is use your bridge that you use in the first verse, put it in the second verse." I was like, "Oh, that's a nice trick." And he said, "Yeah, you only got to sing a couple of new words and use whatever you had before." And, I mean, I've been doing it ever since. It's been helping me out. Matter of fact, Pete picked up on what I was doing, and he started doing it. Yeah.
You know what? That's crazy, man. And first off, I was going to ask what year it was that you signed with Motown or you was with them, because when we think of Motown, there was so many different incarnations. But when you said Marvin, that was still there, I'm like, wow, because I was thinking, who was you around? What sort of artists and stuff did you get to meet? Because, Marvin Gaye actually probably my favorite, of all time. Wow. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed, man. He's really, really nice. And what you see, how pleasant and really smooth, he's really like that. It's his personality, real smooth, really compassionate guy, And everybody over at Motown was very nice, and they showed me so much on how to, conduct myself. They were really still back into the artist development, and so they developed me more and more. However, I didn't get a lot of money when I was in Motown. I got the money when I got with the tank. You heard me?
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get to that, because you kind of you laid down a bit of foundation for it. So now we're coming to understand. You started out then in California. Are you from?
In California, yep, in California.
Are you from Richmond or which part of California?
Richmond, California. I went to Kennedy High School, where it was a lot of great entertainers that you guys know now that went there. Like, let's see, Glenn Plummer, who played, what was it? He played in, I forget the name. It was like a bunch of them, those gangster movies back in the day. I forget what his name was. If I say his name, you'll definitely know. He was big time. Then I had another good buddy named Willie White. But in Hollywood, he changed his name to Salim Akil. Me and him were really tight, and he produced The Girlfriend in the Game. It was a whole stellar amount of people that went to Kennedy High School. I went to. They're now super successful.
Oh wow, yeah. I just seen Glenn Plummer, man. Yeah, I know that brother. he was in.
What they call him in the movies?
That was the prison movie. He been in a bunch, but yeah,
a bunch of them. Yeah.
That's the one right there. Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah. Oh wow. So yeah, that was South Central. Was
South Central, right? He played. That's what really blew him up.
Yeah, Bobby. OG Bobby Johnson. Bobby Johnson, yep.
Yeah, OG Bobby Johnson. But where he got his first movie was with Madonna.
Okay.
He did it, we was all proud of him and everything, and then so a lot of people, and then of course when Tupac came to the Bay Area, he and my oldest brother was like best friends. My brother was living in Marin at the time, and he used to live Pac used to hear a lot of our music, and so I got a chance, to talk to him a few times. He was a real cool guy. So, and like I say, E40, the Tony, we are real super tight. They used to be like our backup band and everything. Oh, wow. So we all knew each other. Yeah, we all know each other.
Raphael Sadiq and that. He was in Tony and stuff. Right?
Just like this. I remember one time, man, he and we had the same manager, right? This guy named John Green and Carlos Stanfield. We was in LA and we was both broke. I think I had like $5 on me, and we was at this hotel Holiday Inn by the airport. And I was like, look, Ray. Oh, I call him Ray. Y'all call him Raphael. I said, Ray, look, I got $5. I'm gonna go buy some hot dogs, some chips, and we gonna share this together. He's like, all right, cool, man. I'm starving. So we ate and we was talking about being successful, So he turned out to be super successful, and so did I, So it was really good situation.
Props, dude, man. And that's crazy, because you never know, especially sometimes we see one person's success story, but we
Right.
You don't know how many different people they sort of intertwined with along the way.
And tangled with. Right. Yes, indeed, man. So then this would happen. So we went through a series of different record deals. We went with like MCA, Gasoline Alley. We was over there with Shy, the guys that sing "If I Fall in Love, Forever," whatever that little song was they had back. And then we did a deal with Columbia when the Fugees was there. You know, they were really cool. But we still couldn't get it grasped, you know. Finally, I was at my homeboy's barbershop called Mark's Barbershop in Richmond, my homeboy Alamo, Rodney Brown. And he had this picture on his mantle. And it was these tall dudes with these gold teeth. And I'm like, man, when the basketball players start putting gold teeth in their mouth, right? So, and he said, no, man, that's Master P and his brothers, and you know, they rap. I was like, oh, okay. So I swear about 5 minutes later, P walks in, and he always had a whole crew with him. He had Silk, C Murder, he had Mr. Servon, he had Moby Dick, he had Big Ed, rest in peace. Now, Big Ed and I grew up together. He was from Richmond, and he lived around the corner from me. But he had already met P because they all played basketball. So they came in, and P could really be a comedian. He's hella funny, man. The dude is hilarious. He was teasing all the barbers, talking about them ain't barber's license, them fishing license. Y'all know y'all ain't supposed to be cutting people's hair. He's a trip. So he got real serious, right? So he sat next to me, said, hey, man, don't you sing? I was like, yeah, man, you rap, right? He said, yeah. He said, I saw you the other day in Sacramento at the Black Family Day, and y'all was tearing it up, man. Them girls was going crazy. I was like, right on, blood. He said, listen, if ever I make it, I'll help you. And if ever you make it, will you help me? I was like, yeah. Look, Father, I was broken in glass on the concrete. You hear me? Yeah. And so I was like, I had nothing to lose. So Pete started balling, right? He started selling records out his record store. He started recording. He started selling his records, you know what I mean? And he started doing really wonderful. Next thing you know, everybody in the Bay Area heard about P getting this record deal with Priority Records. He got about $250,000, right? So we was like, all right, that's cool. You know, he made it, right? So we was still trying to get a deal. And I had came up with the song Pushing Aside You, right? I was so broke. I said, you ain't gonna believe this, but I said, God, please put a song in my hand millions of people love. And the next thing you know, I started playing Show Feels That Good to Me when I'm pushing. I was like, oh, my nephew was in the other room. He's like, what the hell is that? I was like, I just got this song, man. He's like, man, record that. So I recorded it. I called my boy Dez in my group. He said, Rick, please come over my house. We got to record that song. So we recorded it. And so fast forward about a year and a half later, we go to Los Angeles. I see P at Priority Records. He walked in the door. He had like this orange glow over the top of him. I was like, oh, okay, we at least find, I know somebody who got a deal who can help me, right? So I was like, he's like, Rick, you still singing? I was like, yeah, you still rapping, right? He was like, yeah, well, I'm doing a little something. Little did I know, Fonz, the man was a multi-millionaire. He was like the Michael Jackson of rap of the South and the Midwest, right? Yeah. And he was encroaching in on the West Coast and East Coast. And so he was like doing really well, but we didn't know. We just knew he had got this record deal. So next thing you know, he said, man, come on, man, come with me upstairs. Let me hear it. He said, knowing you, I know this is going to be hot. I put on Pushing Aside You, man. 2 seconds later, P was signing us a record deal. He gave us all $100,000 a piece, $100,000 a piece, and we never looked back. We was on popping.
That's such a dope introduction. I was gonna ask you as well because you sort of answered the question who produced that record. So you had composed it and written it all before prior to meeting P, which is actually
man. So I had already had it right, and I played it. And he was just like, oh my, he said, Reed, that's dope. He said, man, I'm gonna put this on the soundtrack about it. I'm gonna make y'all. I was like, bro, can you make us bigger than Jodeci? He was like, yeah, I got no more money than Jodeci. I think I do. But like I said, we didn't know. So I called my cousin in Texas. I said, Tracy, bro, like we about to sign with No Limit. He was like, bruh, do you know you didn't hit Lotto? Master P is the man out here. Like, he ain't nobody bigger than him. I was like, what? He was like, man, you better hurry up. Next thing you know, man, P So when we went home, right? We went home, and he said, y'all go home and take that raggedy red truck back. I know that's y'all, because ain't nobody at LA got a truck as raggedy as like it was hard. And he knew it. And he said, he gave us about like $2,000 out of his pocket. He said, y'all go buy some new clothes too. Y'all looking shabby. Y'all about to be with me. I was like, okay. So we went shopping and everything. So we get home. He flies to Baton Rouge. So we get here to Baton Rouge, man, and he opens up this safe. And I swear, man, looked like it was a vault, a bank vault. It was stacks and stacks of hundreds and $100 bills. I was like, bruh, what the heck? Did you hit a lick? He was like, no, man, I'm just selling a few records. He gave us all $100,000 a piece, man. I had never seen that much money in my life.
Cash money.
Lord.
Yep.
Cash dollars, right? Then we hopped on a plane and we go to Houston. And the word got out, Master P was in Houston, was at the Galleria. People started swarming. Then they closed down the whole mall for us because it was thousands of people trying to get in. They was beating on the door. I was like, bruh, who are you? Are you the second coming of Christ? I said, what's going on? I didn't know. He started laughing. He's like, oh, man, I've been selling a few records. I'm like, yeah, to say the least, right? So little by little, I'm starting to understand that P was huge. We was like the biggest black record company that ever existed in the United States. Matter of fact, you can pull us up. Yeah, you can pull us up in Guinness Book of World Records for selling the most records ever. It was us, and then it was Puffy. Yep. But we were completely black owned. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, that's why a lot of us definitely gravitating towards when it comes to the tank. Now, right. let's go slightly back a bit because you talk about, we just touched on how infectious, like the, I guess the aura or the personality or the person or the character Master P grew to be as an individual.
Oh, man.
But you growing up in Richmond early on, you say you grew up with Big Ed a little bit. I want to get into that, if you could share a few stories and how you met some of the other guys. Was it like Dez and Zoe for
Yeah.
And right. Not only that, I was going to ask you as well, did you come across P before in Richmond or did you hear about him sort of before or just not until that time you met him?
I didn't know who he was. I never had met him or whatever, So let's start with Big Ed. Now, Big Ed and I grew up together. Big Ed played basketball. He was a weightlifter or whatever. And he was very nice, humble guy. Just easy. One of the guys that's in the neighborhood, that you just hung out with. If you played basketball, Big Ed was going to be there. He was going to school you and laugh at you. You go home, whatever. And I know he was trying to do a little rapping thing on the side, but he was mainly into basketball, so kind of like P was, right? Okay. And then like Dez and I are really cousins. We not like even like buddy, we like really cousins. And so what happened, Dez and Zoe started Sons of Funk before I was in Sons of Funk, but they didn't have a name though. They was just producing beats. And so one day, it was a spring day, right? And I was in Oakland by the lake. This is where everybody hung out. Like you could see Tupac over there, E40 over there. You could see everybody in Vogue over there. We all hung out at the lake, Lake Merritt in Oakland on Sundays, right? Everybody be over there. It's just a bunch of fun, So then I seen Dez. He was like, "Cuz," he said, "Man, I'm producing now." I was like, "Whatever, boy. What you producing?" He was like, "Man, come over to my house right now. I'm gonna let you hear some of the music." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I go over to his house, and man, I swear, Franz, he put the music on, and it was all the sounds you hear on the radio. I swore Teddy Riley was in that room with us, right? Because it was around that New Jack era time, right? Okay. And it was the drum sounds, it was the keyboard sounds, and I was like, "Cuz, you really did this?" He was like, "Yeah." So it's really a song out there we got. I'm gonna send it to you. It's called "If Your Body Say Yes." It's better than pushing inside you.
Really, that's a huge statement to make because pushing inside.
Okay. It really is, man. It's a song out there that I wrote. It's better than pushing, right? So so I said, give me that beat, man. When I come back tomorrow, I'm gonna have a hit record for you. He was like, "For real, cuz?" I was like, "Yeah, man, that music is dope." So I went home and I wrote to it, right? And I came back the next day and I sang the hook for him in the lead verses. He was like, damn, that's what we need. Oh my God, cuz will you be with us? I was like, okay. So at this time, Zoe was there, right? Zoe was just 15 at the time, right? He was a little dude, but he was a virtuoso on the keyboards, right? He could play. He was a PK, right? So grew up in the church playing. And so he was extremely good. And then that's how Sons of Funk started. Okay. And we started producing a lot of records for ourselves and started getting out performing. And I noticed that we had it, man. I noticed a lot of people started really tripping on us, like, hey, man, y'all really sound really, really good. It's so good. It was this dude, he and I we didn't like each other. He was my nemesis, right? He had got that song, If Your Body Say Yes. And he said, Rico, man, I know me and you we don't see eye to eye. But he said, I love the hell out your song, man. That dang song is the bomb. He's like, man, like, I can't stop playing it. I was like, I know you must really like it because I know me and you, we at odds all the time, you know. It was over some girl type stuff, but that's here nor there. But we cool now, we young. So yeah, man. So then we started bubbling. We started doing selling records out of the trunk like everybody else. We were selling hundreds and hundreds of tapes, and just by that chance, man, I met P. And man, when I tell you, Fonz, meeting P totally changed my life, man. Like, so by the time we put out, I got the hookup. We had all bought houses in Beverly Hills. We had all got brand new Mercedes. We had buku money in the bank, man, and we had just, life was just, every day was a Saturday, you know? And like, let me tell you, like, so, like when I finally moved to LA, right, and I got my house and everything, it was a 7-Eleven on the corner where I lived in the valley, right? And rest in peace, man. I just saw that he passed away. I used to see Eddie Van Halen all the time there, and yeah, he was really nice, man. He lived up the hill from us, right? And he would invite us over. Well, he invited me over because I told him I play guitar, and I heard him. He beat it for me, and I was like, oh, dang, man. So by this time, I still never met Michael Jackson, right? But I did meet his mother. Okay. And I met her at this restaurant in the valley. It's called Stevie's Soul Food. And I told her, you know, it was such a pleasure meeting her, and the way she raised her kids, it allowed me to pattern myself after them. And I wasn't into drugs. I was thoroughly focusing on being successful. And she said, baby, that's got to be one of the best accolades I have ever heard, you know. So that made me happy. You know, I met the King's mom, you know. And I think I met Janet Jackson a year, but it wasn't like, you know, I couldn't meet Mike. And then I had a bunch of buddies, man, that I wanted to meet Prince too, because I love Prince about as much as I love Mike, right? So, you know, of course, Raphael Sadiq, he played with Prince, you know, or Sheila E. I had another buddy, my mentor, Miko Weaver. He played guitar for Prince on tour with him and stuff. And Levi Caesar, who grew up in Richmond with me, he played with Prince, but I just never got a chance to meet none of my heroes, you know. But it's cool.
Yeah. Well, you definitely left your own mark now, and as you said, meeting Mike's mom, that must have been a blessing, and especially getting to that message to her and stuff like that. So that was really you know, we're getting back to some of the Tank stuff. Then fast forward now, we done dropped. You know, I got the hookup out not too long after Pushing Inside and stuff coming. At what point do you think to yourself, or do you look at it and say, you know, okay, you know, this is it? Like we really got some steam right now, and you was also involved with producing other artists on the Tank and that as well.
Everybody.
Stuff, so if you could give a bit of insight on that.
Yeah, man, it was so wonderful. Like, to answer your first question, when well, I guess when I got the $100,000, the first that's it. I was like, man, looking at this and knowing him, I don't have to worry about nothing no more, right? And then it just got better and better and better. Like Boz, you know Boz, Anthony Boswell, right? I remember we was getting our suits for the album cover, right? Remember the yellow suits we had on?
Yeah.
All Versace suits and stuff. I was like, man, I don't know if I can get used to this. Like, man, you got to get used to this. And you ain't got to take it back like Puffy make everybody take shit back.
Yeah, no red engine, no red implosion.
Yeah. So we was just doing our thing, man. And then, so P knew that we produced. So he was like, man, what y'all got for, like some radio stuff for the artists, whatever. So, we was down here and Fiend was about to put out his album. And I was listening to his album. I was going, Fiend, I'm loving your album. However, you need a radio hit. And he said, man, Rick, you got something for me? I was like, give me a minute. I think within 3 minutes, I came up with Feel My Pain.
Okay.
And I started playing it, and I came up with the hook. Zoe, he came up with the keyboard part. And, hold on, my phone going off. So he came up with the keyboard part. Man, we started recording the song, and it became his number one hit.
Yep. Well, that you put you know, just being in the mix, it sort of reminded me of because sometimes I think, how come you guys didn't have more production credit with, like, as part of Beats by the Pound, but at the same time you was your own sort of outfit, but still in that assistance. I know there must have been some great, you know, sessions, because you was around at a time where, you know, the tank was stacked.
Yo, man, we was killing it.
That you know, you and P always did great work and stuff with the Colonel. Is there any other artists? You just mentioned Fiend. Who would you, you know, who was like?
Man, we produced everybody. I produced Cain and Abel. I produced Silk. I produced C Murder. Let me tell y'all about C Murder.
Yeah.
People think P and C is really the same person. C just got a little more edge on it at the time than P, but they were both very meticulous. I mean, people don't know this about C Murder. He would, if he recorded with you, he'd get your name, he'd get how much you wanted to get paid for the song. He would make sure that your check was ready at the end of the night. Oh, he was meticulous, man. He was like this. And what I loved about P, Silk, and C, they were always on time. Matter of fact, they was there earlier than the time they were supposed to be there, right? They never were late to anything they did. They didn't have the Hollywood mentality. They truly appreciated what God had blessed them with, you know. And they were just meticulous at what they did. And so that bled over on the other artists on the tank. We knew, because P was on time, and that was just me anyway. I was always on time, but I noticed everybody else patting themselves after how he was. We were always on time. We didn't try to start any trouble with anybody. If y'all ever see P in concert, he always said, look, I don't want no fighting. I want y'all to go home, have a good night. We had a good time here with y'all. And I thought highly of the brother, so much so, man. I remember one time we was in Atlanta, right? And we was at the Galleria. I think that's whatever the name of that big mall is in Atlanta. We was there, and so he pulled me to the side. He said, "Reed, you see that dude selling the tanks, right? They're like some fake No Limit tanks." He said, "Tupac would be mad about that. He would go over there and want to fight that guy." He said, "But not me." He said, "Man," he said, "that dude is perpetuating the tank. He's letting everybody know we here." He said, "It's a compliment to me that the dude would even go so far to make a fake tank and sell it. Plus, he got to feed his kids too. I'm not going to stop him from doing that." And I was like, dang, P, you right. I mean, this dude was so far advanced, man.
Wow, even back then. Yeah.
Back then, man, everything I learned from them, used to call it No Limit University, right? Everything I learned then, I apply now. And you see, Spons, you see all these people. I got Justin Timberlake shouting me out. Yeah. I got,
I just saw Sinbad, you know, yeah.
Yes, man. But all that is because the two companies I was with, No Limit and Motown, they showed me how to conduct myself, I was always a good person, but to really put the polish on it, you know. And P just showed me, this is how you conduct yourself in business, man. And you don't get mad at people for this. You just kind of, a lot of stuff P would let slide. A lot of people did a lot of stuff under the, behind the scenes to him that you would never even know about. But you would never know. He just let it slide because he knew his trajectory, where he was going. And oh man, it was just phenomenal, man, what he did and how he was doing it. And again, Fonz, everything that we learned we're applying it to this day. Exactly. And it's still working.
I mean, I'll be honest, even with myself, because, a huge inspiration and influence to any stuff I've done has come from seeing what P and No Limit in the Tank did. I always looked at No Limit same way as the university, like you guys used to say, and be like, shit, I'd love to study under that sort of learning tree. And even from the informal learning that I got, still enabled me to have the mindset where I've been able to, sort of have that entrepreneurial vision to go out and put different things together. And a lot of that's come from, seeing P do it, seeing the Tank do it. And when I see guys like yourself, even at like this stage in the game, it's always a blessing because, when we talk about No Limit, we just saw the No Limit Chronicles even come out. And we saw, everybody kind of knows somewhat of the story, the rise, the fall, the good, the bad. At the tail end of that, I've spoken to a few different people, and there's no doubt that No Limit was paying out money, which at a time where most other labels weren't, really paying their artists money and stuff like that. They was putting people in positions. At the same time, when things sort of went sour, people went different ways, or some people lost their money, some people didn't do certain things. And, I'm not taking anyone side or anything, but like I said, when I see someone like you, it's like as you've explained, you've taken the lessons and done something with it. I know people been kicking them for years. I remember buying like the Source magazines and stuff back in the day, and they used to have interview the artists, even me and X and stuff, and they would speak about how P teaches them business and tells them to invest in money and stuff like that and things of that nature. So it's like seeing somebody like yourself that did it.
Let me expound on some of that too, man. So I was lucky enough to have a mother. Well, my father was very astute as well. He, college graduate or whatever. And, but my mom was very business. And she gave me high, financial IQ. Once I bought that house, right, in Los Angeles, and get this, P never had his name on anybody's home or cars or any of that. Whatever was yours was yours. Now, what he would tell you is, look, y'all put y'all pants on the same way I do. I still got a company to run. So this is yours. If you got to go get you a little job to keep up with your little taxes and pay your gas, whatever, go do that. It's okay. Just do what you got to do till we get to this next level. And a lot of people had a lot of, I would call false pride or whatever. They didn't feel like they needed to do certain things, but I understood, right? So, and a lot of guys, man, to this day, and I hate to say it, but since you want to talk about the good and the bad, I'm going to just be real with you. A lot of them didn't adhere to the fact that P put us 30 years ahead of life. We were young guys. We were like, I think I might have just turned 30 or whatever at the time. So I was very young. But if you think about it, me owning that home in Los Angeles beat out 30 years of life. Whereas I didn't have to pay a mortgage for 30 years. So I was that far ahead, advanced in life, but some of them didn't see it, but I did. And what happened was, Fonz, the market started to grow in California, right? So I said, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cash out on this house and I'm gonna move back. I'm gonna go down south to Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and I built this beautiful house and I bought a bunch of property, like 6, 7, 8 pieces of property. And I sit back, man, and that's what allowed me to still do the music comfortably the way I do. Of course, I got some ups and downs. Folks don't want to pay rent or whatever, but hey, that comes with the territory.
Exactly.
But I knew what to do and what not to do. My mom was like, oh, no, boy, you ain't finna blow your money on a bunch of cars. You gonna go do this, you gonna do this, build this house, do this. So I did it. And to this day, I'm living a really great life. Inadvertently because of Master P, man. Some people that is on the Tank can't say that because for whatever reason, they own their homes, like some beautiful homes, $250,000, $300,000, which right now they would probably be about close to $1 million. You know what I mean? They took loans out on their homes and didn't pay them, and they lost them. And the people who gave them the loan was salivating because they knew their homes was 3 times worth, 4 times the amount of money they had loaned on. And so, so now some of them are kind of like, what do I do? But I knew, but here's the deal. Pete told them back then, don't take loans out in y'all houses because these people gonna take it. I know y'all done got spoiled. I done spoiled all y'all, and none of y'all want to go back to work to pay these loans off, and they gonna take them, and you guys got to start all the way back over. I knew never to take a loan on any of my homes. You know what I mean? Unless I was going to do some more property investment, and so a lot of them, that's what happened to them, and so they just got to deal with how life throws at them. And, it's hard out here, man,
Yeah.
But again, P put us 30 years ahead of life, man. And people couldn't even, they was like, wow, how did y'all? And I was like, man, thank God to P, God first, but God allowed P to bless us all,
Yeah. And I think it's what you say is definitely right. Because even when we talk about, even just talking to yourself, I know you're somebody with a high IQ, and you said you had a financial IQ on top of that. So, you're quite
right.
in your own right. When we look at some of our people, it's not necessarily the bad thing to say, but we have been put and left behind in a lot of ways anyway. So sometimes I think a lot of our people don't realize how behind we actually are. So even when in a situation like that, where you've had somebody like the Colonel who's really advanced and tried to help move people forward, but he's speaking about it sometimes where it became like a detriment even to him, because you put people in positions, and then when you're not able to do something for them no more, when things change, that dependency, all of that stuff. Now,
I saw seeing people turn on him. Yeah. I was like, how are y'all turning on this man? The man hooked us up. Nobody was giving us no record deal. Like I'm telling you now, Bonds, I knew Invo. I knew Tommy and Denny, who produced Invo and the Tonys. I knew all these people personally, but it took a dude from the bowels of the Callio projects. And I don't know if you ever been to Louisiana and seen these projects out here. Ain't nothing nice, man. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible.
I couldn't imagine what it was like, especially in those times.
Oh my God, bro!
Shout out to Neutral Grounds. Yeah, shout out to the Neutral Grounds quickly. There's a channel on YouTube. They got quite a few different documentaries and telling some of the stories and stuff, so people can check those out. So things sort of started falling apart at a point, 99. At what point did you feel as though, because you say you guys sort of retired in 99 and then, you made a comeback years later and stuff, but what was it that led to, I guess, not to say you walking away, because everybody kind of went their own ways in different ways. So
this is what I kind of start seeing when I don't know. P is a human being too, right? And he's a man, and he has whatever, when he started doing the wrestling thing, I was like, hey, man, you Master P, you don't wrestle. You know what I mean? Don't go in there with Hulk Hogan and all the rest of those idiots.
You crazy, man. You should have let him stay. Sorry to cut you. You should have let him stay, because I'm a big wrestling fan, man. That was huge at the time. That was huge at the time. Seeing P and wrestling. I didn't want to see him in the ring, but seeing him in there, he actually got paid. He got paid a lot of money as well. They gave him for those.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm knowing P. I know. But this is really the downfall. Let me share.
Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
No worries. Listen, I'm gonna show you. This is really what happened. When I bought my home in LA, right? We lived in a very affluent neighborhood. I was in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Sherman Oaks, right on the cusp of both. And I would go to the Slauson swap meet on Slauson and hear all the hot new music coming out and just staying grounded with my people. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too out there where I'm losing contact of really what's hot or what's going on, right? And all of a sudden, I heard this song. It said, "You keep your body clean, huh? You know the scene, huh? You know the thing, huh?" It was Juvenile, huh? Bro? I was like, holy, and I could hear the tone in his voice. He was from New Orleans, right? I was like, oh snap! So I called my homeboy who lived in Baton Rouge. I said, "Who is this?" He said, "Man, that's Juvenile, and that's Cash Money." I had just read about him in this magazine called Murder Dog. It was pretty hot too.
I know
I just read about them, and I had just heard about Manny Fresh or whatever. I was like, okay, so these cats, yeah. So I jumped up. So Slauson is right by the LAX, right? So I drove my car to LAX, man. I hopped on a plane. Let me take you back. So I said, man, who are these cats? He said, man, that's Baby, that's Manny Fresh, that's Juvenile, that's Cash Money. He said, man, so I was like, all right. So I hops on the plane. I gets to Baton Rouge. I go to the office and I tell P, excuse me, I said, P, we gotta sign Cash Money because if we don't, they gonna take over, man. Because I'm listening to it was like a new hybrid of No Limit, right? But it was funky and it was the drums. It was on some. I was like, oh my God, who is this Manny Fresh? He was like, no, Rick, you tripping? They ain't nobody. They ain't go. I was like, boy, is you serious? Go to California and go to Slauson Swap Meet, and you gonna find out who Cash Money is. So him and Bob started laughing at me, whatever. I was like, all right. 6 months later, girl, you look good when you back that thing up.
Monster.
They took off and we went down. That was a wrap. Oh, and this is when it really hit on. So I was at a Nas concert in Orange County, right? You know, because I kind of like New York sound a little bit. You know, it was dope. And I had got a chance to meet Jay-Z. He was there that night, and I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. I love Jay-Z, and so I walks in. I had my tank on, and some dude out of somewhere, I don't know where he was, but he said, "Fuck No Limit. It's all about Cash Money." I was like, "Oh God."
And that was on the East Coast.
It was a wrap, you know. So, oh well. Okay. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say even my early introduction to Cash Money was like, cause they had that down pat where when we used to see him in the magazines and stuff out here. At first, we initially thought they had something to do with No Limit because just the look as well.
Right.
And then I think one of the first records. I heard a bit of Hacker. We used to get like Young TV raps and stuff like that. And then, as you said, Juve is crazy because I was talking to someone about Juve earlier and I was saying like, I didn't really bump all the rest of the Hot Boys in that at that time, like, as much as like, maybe because he was a bit older and I didn't realize them, but he had just that extra dimension to him where he sort of carried it forward after Wayne, got a bit older and a bit seasoned. Obviously, he took he knocked the ball out of the park, but, same. I remember hearing Juve, and then he was on the Rough Riders album with with Dragon and all that. He was doing all these dope features and stuff. And
it was dope.
It's kind of crazy because even watching the Chronicles, and they say P had the opportunity to either sign or distribute because my introduction to them, that's what I thought was the way that they appeared. In their appearance and everything, I already thought they had something to do with No Limit.
Let me take you back, Fonz. Honestly, I left a part of that story out. Really, my boy had called Baby and said, yo, he said, man, tell P I'll sign the whole company with him for $1 million. P had more, he could have just threw $1 million at him. And that's what made me come to Louisiana from LA and say, P, man, look, these dudes, man, they hot. Well, all they want is $1 million. He was like, man, we ain't fooling with them. See, I didn't know that he had already met with them at that restaurant or whatever. And, he was like, nah, I don't. But, I guess he recognized Baby as being, just as strong-willed and just as, and there's nothing wrong with it. Two alpha males, super alpha males, right? That's just really what you had. Yep. And he recognized that, and for whatever reason, he just said, "Nah, go ahead, y'all do your own thing," And he was a man. He was admitted that if the people over there priority signed him, he was gonna leave. And it was so many people beckoning for us that it didn't make a difference, at that time. But of course, Cash Money came, man, and they to this day they still are reinventing, with Wayne, and you got Drake, you got Nicki Minaj, mainly Drake. I love everything about Drake, and so it just transformed, and it is Cash Money still.
I think that's what No Limit missed out on, really being able to reinvent the wheel in the right way, just maybe down to a lot of the legal stuff and things that happened after with the company and all that, but. Even with the stuff that you're doing now to move it forward, it's like you've been able to reinvent the wheel with Sons of Love. '99, you guys sort of took your breakout, but then you came back again. And
Yeah.
What year did you come back? Was it 2014? You dropped the Lost Files?
Yeah, we had the Files, the Lost Files, the Sons of Funk, and we were trying to do it, and it was cool, but they, I must be honest with you, my dad's in the group. I don't know if he really felt it anymore or whatever, but I had the power and the zeal and the power and just the bright light just to keep going, because there's some accolades that I still want to achieve, which is, I want to get American Music Award. I want the Grammy. I want my name on the Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame in Los Angeles. There's a few things that I must achieve, before I check up out of here. And I still, to this day, that fire burns bright in me, man, what I'm trying to achieve. And so they backed away, and now one of the original members, which is Zoe, he's still in the group with me, and my son, RJ, who's doing a phenomenal job. He's like, to me, he's really like Chris Brown minus the dancing. His vocal ability is just, and he's so creative when he writes. So this is what we got, Fonz. We got this beautiful marriage, right? I knew from the Prince, Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind & Fire, Isley Brothers how to write really great hooks, right? And I have a really strong ear for like music I think is going to appeal to a lot of people that cross over. And so what I do is I write the hooks, and then he and I write the verses, but he brings that young swag to it, the new cadence, which is now, again, a hybrid of whatever is going on now. So we're in our lane by our own self, and there's no R&B group out there like what we got. Yeah, so if you can imagine, you got like Chris Brown and Drake and Earth, Wind & Fire together, and that would be the new Sons of Funk.
Yeah, I mean, we've checked out some of the new singles, the Entanglement, Stupid as well. It's another one which is dope. Yeah. And, there's a lot of great visual stuff as well. I mean, you guys got some dope visuals and stuff too as well, which is really important in this time. And even with your marketing and stuff, I've seen like loads of shout outs from, various celebrities, DJs, DJ Envy. The Breakfast Club and stuff like that. So there's a lot of support there. For Sons of Funk.
So we doing it, man. And again, like we have all the support from all these wonderful and illustrious people that's really, really strong in the game, and they pushing for us. They're playing our music. We're getting back out there. We just got a call yesterday, man, where Rap Caviar put us on their playlist, their curated playlist from Spotify. And if anybody knows about Spotify and Rap Caviar, they know that it's extremely hard to get on there. They actually turn down majors, to get on their curated playlist. And so we were lucky enough to get on there, and we're just now about to get into Google. So like if you turn your phone on, you'll see this whole article about us. That's about to be out very soon. So yeah, we smoking, man. And I'm finna bring some of that No Limit heat. I'm gonna be right in their face like Pete taught us. We gotta be in their face all day, every day.
Well, you're definitely carrying the legacy forward and still extending on it, as you said, with your son as well. So with that being said, even just looking back slightly then before at the No Limit legacy, what's your maybe personal favorite? What was one of your personal favorite moments, or even times? Like, was it being in the studio working on music? Was it working on the movies? I recall seeing you in, No Tomorrow and some movies like that in the studio and doing bits.
Oh yeah.
Which parts did you read was like, where you was really in your element? I'm guessing in the studio mainly, but
Yeah, I love that part, man. Because I was always around because I wanted to be in everything, right? They wasn't going to leave me out. I'm going to try to be in every movie or whatever. So Pete said, Rico, I got this wonderful part for you in No Tomorrow because you acted so crazy and I got the hookup. Do you remember I was playing with the stripper with the money? You remember that? And I got to go back and watch it. I got the hookup.
That's you.
That's me.
I remember that seeing you like.
Yeah. So they were laughing. Matter of fact, the director said, "Hey man, he needs to be all through this movie. He's funnier than all y'all. He's really good because I made that whole part up by myself. Nobody told me to do it, and the director was rolling, right? So they just kept it in there. So he said, "Man, you did so good in that. Just come do this part as a studio engineer and No Tomorrow." And then from that, I was able to be in Ray with Jamie Foxx. And a few other really, really notable movies and stuff, And so yeah, man, that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do the same thing like Pete. We're gonna do movies. We got some other acts that we're gonna put out. And our record company now is called Monument One, and it's gonna be really good, man, and really it's gonna be a big situation that we got going. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the Sons of Funk records you had and stuff as well. So it's good to know that you're gonna be working with different artists and stuff as well, and taking even the experiences that you've had being under the learning trees of Motown and No Limit, some of the labels, let alone black labels and stuff as well. So what could we expect then, music wise? I guess in the future, I know you've got the stuff that's out now. Is there anything you want to plug or let us know that to look out for?
Yeah, so be looking out for Stupid, the Entanglement. Matter of fact, man, believe it or not, we're doing a new song now. We're gonna kind of re-hook up, Pushing Aside You. We're doing it. Remember the 69 Boys?
Yeah. 69 Boys. Yeah.
We're gonna do that with them. We're producing, believe it or not. You remember Lakeside? Come along and ride on the Fantastic Voyage. Yeah. Okay, we're producing them. We're gonna bring them back. We got like a few other, strong older acts that we're working with, and then like a few youngsters that we got Forever Hood. We got Sean Baby, and we got a few people that we got going, that's gonna be out. And then of course Sons of Funk, man. We gonna slam them. We got some hot stuff, and then our second single. It might be Loyal or Water Gun, and we're gonna go to Miami. We're gonna have the boats and the jet skis, and it's gonna be real hot. Just like old school No Limit days, So it's our time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And people, if you type in Sons of Funk on Google, everything definitely gonna pop up. Do you have any other like separate social medias or anything you want to plug around?
Yeah, Rico. It's just Rico Sons of Funk or RJ Sons of Funk, and you can find me just Rico Sons of Funk. Bam, Rico.
that shirt, bad man. Is that the new merch that you come in with?
Yeah, more merch. Yeah. So then we got the hats. We got the mask. We got dominoes. I'm telling you, I learned from Master P. Now we got it all. We got it all.
Yeah, soon next is in the food business, man. So
yeah,
I'm proud of P. Even seeing what he's doing, especially with the food stuff and that as well. That's
he got the cereal and all kind of stuff.
It's an important move, and even with yourself and what you've done and what you've accomplished and continuing to accomplish, you're laying a foundation that's able to support others coming up after you, and you're putting out a positive message and inspiring other people that because we all need inspiration in this world, man, and that's how each one teach one. If you wasn't inspired by the Mikes and the Princes and and I know there's plenty of others. We could have. Who one of your favorite vocalists? What you think of my boy Smokey Robinson, man? That's one of my.
Oh my God, Smokey was. You know what? Let me share something with you. If you really listen to old Smokey Robinson, he sounded like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I was like, I really tripped one day. I really listened to him. I was like, no wonder why Barry Gordy liked Michael so much. He sounded like Smokey.
Michael's so special. Because Michael's so special because even from a young age and stuff, he could sound like the magnificent elder, guys, and even encompass the same sort of emotion and feeling and all of that, which that was super, super rare. But yeah, Smokey,
and see, let me tell you something. That's another thing I learned from Motown, man. They taught me how to. I was always doing it, didn't know I was doing it, but they really taught me how to hone in on, like, say, all this interview you were talking about, right? I would hone in on certain words that really sparked or felt like it would like attract millions of people. And I would remember how your phrasing was, whatever, and I would write it down. And that's how you write hooks. And they said that's the key to writing hooks. It's just like basic talking. But remember the buzzwords, like words that really stuck out to you. And those are the hooks that can make millions of people buy the records. And then I always adopted that, you know. And another trick that I learned from P. P is dope, man. Like people don't really know. He's dope. Like so he'll write his verses, right? And then his second verse usually is better than his first verse. So he'll throw the first verse away and pop the second on first, and then he'll write another one. It's even better than that. But by that time, that's a great record. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that trick from him.
You know,
he's good.
That's a dope tip, man. Because you know, even myself, I was playing the record to someone the other day, and it was like, "Oh, your second verse is better," and I said, "It's always supposed to be that way." However, I never would have ever thought to do anything as genius as that. Like, take that verse. And
man. And watch this. And if you really listen to his music, he kind of says a lot of things similar. A lot, but he's breaking his brand. He's breaking his way of rapping. Like he might say, I grew up on eggs and rice. Or he might say, he had a couple little sayings he would always throw in his record, so you'll know it was him. He was always breaking. He was always promoting himself. You know, he was dope, man.
Yeah.
He was so.
I mean, he's still dope. To me, I give him a lot of you know, respect. Yeah. I don't get into any of the other foolishness, but for what he's accomplished and what he continues to do. As we know, there ain't no man on this earth that be like perfect. And one thing I love about he always says he ain't God, and he always says he ain't perfect. So what more can a man say besides that?
And you know what, Fonz? Let me share something with you. And I know people might trip out when I say this, but if you show a picture of not Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King, they need to show a picture of Master P. Let me tell you why. I seen him buy 40 black men and women homes that they own by themselves. They own. He didn't have to put his name on it like this in the record company's name. No. You deserve this because you've been working so hard. This is yours. Now just keep it up. So what can you say when a man does that for you? You know what I mean? And a lot of these people, we both know Fonz, a lot of them that was on the tape would have never got a major record deal. Some of them were subpar. Some of them were okay. Some of them were super great. You have Mystical, you know, you have Fiend, you have Me X. These are people, you know, Soldier Slim, what's his name? My guy that's in jail. What's his name? Who?
You talk to Mac, you talking
Mac. Oh, Mac was
Mac, camouflage assassin.
Tupac of the South.
Yep.
Mac was dope. You
Mac
hear me?
Mac could have been like, you know, even at the time, he was one of my he could have easily have been one of my favorite rappers in the game.
Oh, easy.
Like, not just in No Limit, in like just
dope.
About,
really, yeah. Like truly, man. Like if you really sat down, and again, he was so humble. He's such a nice dude. All that stuff. I would be very hard pressed to believe that what they said he did because he was not like that. But he was such a brainy little dude, man. To me, he really was the Tupac of the South. He was truly the best rapper on No Limit. That boy was, and P is still can see to tell you, oh no, he better than us by far, you know.
This is one thing I would just ask you that's as you said that, because we often hear, and this ain't about no drama or nothing, but oftentimes we hear people make the comparison and say like Soldier Slim was the Tupac of the South, and I get why they say that, but you being somebody that even know Pac from a different level as well, and like you just said, Mac, because I would have probably said someone like Mac would have been like that. You know, like a Nas, like a Pac, like they have a certain type of, you know. I'm not saying Slim was like, Slim had the thug aspect down pat, and he had some of the consciousness too, but I don't think his overall is probably like a Mac or even
no, man. Mac literally could have went to New York and hung with Nas. He could have, I mean, Jay-Z, I mean, Biggie, like his lyrical assault was that dope, man. Like Mac was something else, man. it breaks my heart to this day that he didn't really get a shot the way he really should have, you know. And I know it's back to the diaspora to where we live, you know, in the South, and we were so enormous that anybody black that was with No Limit that they could have put some handcuffs on, they did. They didn't care who, but they really wanted P. But P was a businessman. He wasn't a thug. It wasn't all this. You know, you wouldn't go see P at no party. You're not gonna see P at no bar. You're not gonna see P doing nothing nefarious. It ain't gonna happen, man. P was about his business, and he was straightforward, and he handled his business as a businessman should, and that was it. You know, and a few of us got tangled up in some mess, and you know, like C. You know, whatever.
On that last note, even we talk about being tangled up, we still see a campaign for free Mac and free C Mac.
Yeah.
You just sort of touched on it, explaining that the judicial system in New Orleans can be, and in Baton Rouge, or just Louisiana, and a lot of places in the South overall can be quite
harsh.
Quite harsh as we see. So,
on us. Yeah. You know, and I'm gonna leave you with this. This is why I love P, because he gave us all a shot not to live in that lifestyle anymore. That wasn't for any of us. We all lived in these palatial homes. We had very beautiful cars. We had money. If it wasn't your time, just go get you a little job or whatever. You know, don't be thinking you're so high up that you can't, take care of your little, twos and fews or whatever. But that's what P did for us, man. All of us. And, some of us just fell by the wayside, and then along with the racism to which is brought upon our culture and our race or whatever, it fell off. But, oh, well, I'm still here.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And then just in closing, I'm gonna ask, while we talk about just the race and stuff, is something that's been going on this year. BLM, the elections. We just seen the debate yesterday. Who you got? I know you got quite a political head yourself. Are you?
Yeah. You know what, Fonz? I look at it like I'm neither right wing nor am I left.
Yeah.
Because that's the same damn bird.
Yep.
You feel me? I am. And I have nothing against white people or anything, but I am a black man, and I am for my black people, and I am going to create more jobs, and I'm going to create ways for our people to make money, and we're going to create our own political system. We're going to buy our own land, and we're going to do the right things for each other. That's who I am, and that's who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Rico to help my people.
I could respect that, and that's a solid mindset, and part of, I guess, even the No Limit mindset stuff too.
Yeah,
it ain't about disregarding other people, but we definitely about empowering and helping our own people and stuff.
Our own,
just like everybody else does too.
Everybody else does it. Chinese people do it. Jewish people do it. Whatever. We all, even though I believe Jewish people came from Ethiopia, I can go way back and talk about all kind of stuff. But
I mean,
that right here, right?
Maybe a different conversation. On that last note, though, before we go, because I can throw some out, because I don't know if you ever heard it. I heard this track, and it was a Big Ed track one time, and it was it's an unreleased track. I think it was on a Players and Ballers soundtrack or something. Not a No Limit release, but he rapping about not necessarily Armageddon and stuff, but he just dropping so much conscious sort of bars like that and stuff like. Yeah. And I was like, Big Ed must have been deep. Like, I know he must have been. He didn't come off like an NOI, but he had I was like, he was.
Yeah, he got that. He got it in him. Yeah, he has a lot of Islamic beliefs and faith. And that's how he patterned his life. So he was straight-laced too, man. Very straight-laced guy. Yeah. We always just really some nice people.
Yeah, man, it sounded like it. I mean, rest in peace. God bless the dead, and all the soldiers that were here before and helped lay the foundation. And it's once again, man, it's an honor and a privilege to be chopping up with you guys and working with y'all, because y'all are part of history, not just
Yeah.
out there in the States, but worldwide for the culture and for our people and stuff. So we'll continue forward, and I'm looking forward to hearing like the new material and stuff like that, and staying
Thank
plugged
you.
in. But we'll be blasting stuff off on the radio and things of that nature. So you already know.
Right on, man. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you real tight, Fonz. Yeah. Really.
You already know. All right, then, my bro. I'm going. You watching About That TV, your one-stop shop for the hottest urban edutainment from the UK to the US. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and also join the membership for exclusive content. Yeah, so once again, be sure to tap in with the real. Drop your comments, let us know your thoughts, and do check us out on our official website, aboutthatonline.com. Peace.